This exchange stopped the room cold. Senator Tammy Duckworth asked a simple question about the Veterans Crisis Line, and the answer exposed a disturbing failure that could have put veterans' lives at risk.
Thank you, Mr. Ranking Member. Mr. Combs, during your tenure as lead auditor for the Veterans Crisis Line, was it your experience that responders were the only employees to answer the phones? And could you elaborate on that? Did anybody else answer the Veterans Crisis Line phones other than trained responders?
Thank you for the question, Senator. So, trained personnel, yes. Responders that worked every day, all day as responders, no. They did bring in people to work during overtime periods. So
these were other VA employees?
No, I'm sorry, I should clarify. Other VCL employees who had at some point in time gone through responder training and had qualified as a responder and had been approved to work as a responder in times of need for demand. They could come in and when the call was put out, come in and work as responders.
Okay, so these are folks who had been trained as responders, but maybe are now doing some other job that's not responder training, and
Yes,
then they were given the opportunity to work overtime to help answer the calls.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did they receive any guidance or training or currency refreshers to assist them in doing that overtime on the hotline? These non-responders, even though it's like saying that somebody got the training once upon a time, now they're off doing something else. Now you can pick up a little bit of overtime answering the VCL.
Okay.
Did they get additional training? Did they get the same level of training as the people currently in the responder position?
Well, so again, thank you for your question. The 2023 IG report, that the Inspector General reflects that practice stopped because of that incident that's described in the report. And in fact, how would I say this? The Deputy Director of the Crisis Clinical Operations, he made the decision that practice would stop as of that event, and you had to be a full-time responder or work in the call center as that call center team to take a call from any veteran going forward. So that was about February of 2022 going forward. You had to be a full-time responder or the supervisor, team operation coordinator, or assistant deputy director to take a call.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Blaine, can you please confirm whether as recently as May of 2025, so just last month, responders were not the only employees to answer the phones?
As of May 2025, it was only responders that were answering the phones.
It was, okay. Because my understanding is, we've got that 160-hour of training, and I think it's really important that people who are answering the phones are the most up-to-date. You had mentioned, Ms. Blaine, earlier that the VCL terminations caused delays in services to veterans. Can you please elaborate? I mean, what guidance did you receive from leadership to mitigate these delays following the wrongful terminations?
And thank you so much, Senator Duckworth, for the question. With the wrongful terminations, we didn't get a lot of communication. That's one of the concerns with the Veterans Crisis Line is there was not an evolving door on communication. It was pretty much like, here's where it is. Oops, we've changed directions, and going from there, just, keep working as normal. So,
yeah. I had a couple of people that I knew through my service in the National Guard reach out to myself and some folks within my organization who knew us personally through the Guard who were working the VCL. And some of them received termination notices, and their supervisors didn't even know. They just got the email.
That is a failure of leadership,
Okay.
because that has been the bane of my existence at the Veterans Crisis Line. Again, part of my responsibility at the Department of Treasury was to train supervisors. And I would often share with them, you all are literally just a grade up with no power. You're getting information at the same time that the responders are. There's no way that you could adequately prepare to funnel information down to us because your leadership fails to trust you with information and how it's delivered. That is poor leadership. One of the issues, or one of the things I often say is, leaders lead, managers manage. But if you have a leader trying to manage, you've already missed the mark on what you're supposed to be doing.
Thank you. I'm over time, Mr.
What you're about to hear is not political theater. It's oversight that matters. Senator Tammy Duckworth pressed witnesses on whether only properly trained responders were answering calls on the Veterans Crisis Line, a literal lifeline for veterans in crisis. And what came out was alarming. At one point, non-full-time responders, people who had trained once in the past but were no longer current, were pulled in during overtime to answer calls. No refresher training, no updated certification. It took a serious incident and an inspector general report for leadership to finally stop the practice. Worse, witnesses described wrongful terminations, chaotic communication, supervisors finding out from emails instead of leadership, and a culture where information didn't flow, even when lives were on the line. This wasn't about budgets or bureaucracy. This was about whether veterans calling for help were actually getting someone trained, current, and prepared to save their lives. Duckworth wasn't grandstanding. She was doing exactly what Oversight is supposed to do: force the truth into the open.